One. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Momentum Conversations. Always love sharing different stuff with you guys. And, I've just been having a brief conversation with Eyal from intimatepower.com. He's a sexual empowerment coach and brilliant at what he does. I've been checking out some of his work recently and I absolutely love it. When I think about what he does, he really focuses on working with professionals around sexuality, creativity, and business. Brilliant at what he does. And it's someone that I wanted to bring on here, have a conversation with him and share different things with you. Because we're here to be doing well in our lives. We're here to be the best at what we can be. We all came here for something unique, something special. And I've given Eyal full permission to share whatever he wants. Some of you guys might not be normally comfortable about talking about some of the conversations we are going to cover today. And that's okay. Let's look at that. We want to be able, as my friend William, who I interviewed recently, talked about, we want to be like a magician that can be comfortable in any environments. And Eyal's definitely got some gifts. So welcome to the show. It's Brock Bolton, the Lifetarian here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you today? What are you creating in the world? And what are some of your gifts?
So, hey, Brock, thank you for having me. And we've been checking each other out for a while. And I'm very happy to be part of you and your podcast and what you do. And kind of like the work that I'm doing, you mentioned in the beginning is really on the cutting edge, okay? Because I combine sexuality and sexual empowerment with creativity and with business, and I'm one of the only people in the world who are doing that. Because everybody's kind of like focusing on their own domain, so you have Tantra teachers only doing, massages and happy endings, and you have, business coaches telling you to do Facebook ads, but if a person is not believing in themselves, and if they are disconnected from this beautiful source of energy, which is our sexuality, whatever they're doing is limited by that. So I'm actually helping people with all of these three big aspects and see how they feed into each other. Because when you go and you make $1 million, your sex life is you go back home and you're like, oh wow, I made love with the world, now I want to make love with my partner. Now you're feeling on the top of the world. So it's really about how the things are supporting each other. And the things that I'm focusing right now is creating workshops around sexual empowerment, mainly about self-sexual empowerment, because again, in the Tantra world, there's a lot of focus on what you can do to another person. And I'm like, no, let's focus on ourselves first, empower ourselves so we're not dependent. And then we can share our gifts with another person.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's, and I'm launching soon, kind of like giving you a exclusive here. It's still in the works, but I'm creating something called the New Sexual Evolution Movement. And the New Sexual Evolution Movement is really about this integration. It's about orgasmic empowerment. It's about sexual empowerment. It's about letting go of the shame around sexuality and embracing it as really part of life, because I claim that society is repressed and many people don't even know that they are repressed, misinformed, disinformed, having issues with sexuality that maybe they don't even know about. So yeah, where I'm at.
Yeah, I love it. Good to hear. And that's the thing. People having a different conversation. I get bored. I get bored if I hear all the normal business and Facebook and blah, blah, blah. And the cookie cutter approach to life. Because for myself, having that kind of success where I did traditional goal setting, made money, made a lot of money, lost a lot of money, I just never felt quite fulfilled. And I was always looking for, well, how do I feel how I want to now? And create the experiences in the outside world as it flows. And always looking for those I like creative edge, cutting edge tools. Some of these tools obviously have been around thousands of years. And some of them are also things that you've uniquely developed as you've learned your craft, which is what I love too, just tap into more of that. We just started talking about orgasmic activation. So guys, we want to go deep straight away. In these momentum conversations, I want to give you guys as much value as possible. So orgasmic activation, run us through this. Because I watched a video with my partner the other day, which was beautiful. And just to see that, I'm familiar with some of this stuff. I've experienced some stuff, not as deep as yourself, but some of the stuff that I didn't even know about. That men could have orgasms, that we could have non-ejaculatory orgasms. It was actually optimal to not ejaculate all the time, that we'd actually have more energy for our business, more focus, more creativity. So yeah, you just mentioned orgasmic activation. So I want to talk about that. Tell me more about that. I'm curious.
So there's two sides to activation. So there's self-activation and there's other activation. So maybe let's talk about self first, and then we'll see how we can work. So make sure we come back to the other one, to the how we orgasmically activate somebody else, because that's very, very juicy. So specifically mental sex. So there's kind of like this cultural norm that people have sex and then you come, like the man comes, the woman comes. It's like, I had my orgasm. Did you have your orgasm? Kind of like ticking the box of orgasm.
Yeah.
And even when somebody tells me I made the woman come and she came, for me it's the idea of like, no, I'm not coming. Now I am coming, and now I'm not coming anymore. So it's kind of like the idea that society has that orgasm is a moment. Orgasm is a peak. Orgasm is a goal. When actually orgasm is a state. Orgasm is the beginning of the sexual experience, not the end of the sexual experience. So when somebody tells me, oh, it's like, are we trying to come together? And I'd say, coming together is very easy when you orgasm for 1 hour. So it's not about the coming together. It's about a constant surfing of the orgasmic waves and surfing them together. So for men, it means letting go of the obsession and addiction around ejaculation. And I'm not saying that ejaculation is bad. I'm not like the Christian, whatever, church or whatever other religious organization to say that sex is bad. Sex is amazing, ejaculation is beautiful. But, you kind of like discover this when you are 11, 12, 13. And it's like we're really, really focused on that in the first few years. But then it's time to let go of that and to see how you can. I'm not asking anybody to give up pleasure. I'm saying it's like you can have more pleasure. You can have extra level of pleasure. But letting go of that need to ejaculate, which is also a need for instant gratification that many men are suffering from, and that manifests with food and drugs and alcohol and gambling and internet porn and so on. So letting go of that and instead looking into a longer experience of sex, and also seeing how sex will continue beyond the sex itself, beyond the sexual experience itself. And the thing is that most men, and about interrupt you whenever you want, because I can always talk about this for hours. Most men look at it, it's like, what is the technique that would help me, last longer? So when you ask that, you're already like missing something, because the first question to ask is why. So why last longer? Why coming too fast or coming at all doesn't serve you? As Simon Sinek says, start with why. So this is part of a 5-step model that I have around ejaculation control.
Perfect. So I'm just going to run it. I'm going to jump in there just 1 second, and we'll run through the 5-step model. For some people watching, they might have never heard about this before, so some of this stuff might be a bit different. But I want you guys just to listen and take our word for it that men can multiple orgasm, and women can apparently have up to 74 orgasms. And there's a whole lot of different things. We're going to look about the tangibility of this, how it goes into your business, how it impacts your profitability, how it makes you more confident, how it helps you in your day with your daily charisma and your health and your vitality. But I want you guys just to go, cool, you've heard a little bit. This is maybe a bit different for some of you. Some of you guys might have heard all this stuff before. Who knows? But just listen to that and go, this could be possible for me. Drop all your boundaries of what you're hearing and just go, cool, this is some interesting information. I wonder how I could stay curious and engaged and listen to the next thing. So I want to hear the 5-step model so we can just bounce into that next.
Awesome. And thank you for that. So I'm not, like this crazy guest that you're bringing to the show that says something, totally that nobody heard about. So, and by the way,
this is the stuff we want to hear when we're teenagers. This is the stuff that, when a man walks naked into a room, everyone covers their eyes. There's something different in the world. And the fact that it's weird that we're talking about this conversation and people think this is weird, something's gone wrong in the world to me. That, these are the kind of things we want to learn about at a young age. So let's go through the 5 model.
So also when I'm talking about the men's thing, I want to mention for women that in a moment I'm going to relate to you and your experience. It's also about women's orgasm and clitoral orgasms and so on. And the model for men also serves women as well. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to mention it just because I already mentioned it. So for women, they can use the same model because women have generally two kinds of orgasms, clitoral orgasms and all of the other kinds of orgasms. And the clitoral orgasm is not bad, but what usually women would notice is that after an orgasm, they feel done, they feel completed, they feel kind of like a little bit down, a little bit from the peak. Usually there will be kind of like this hypersensitivity of the clit. So as a man, when you go down on a woman and suddenly she pushes you away after she came, it's like you ask yourself, why? Like, why a second ago she was orgasming and loving it, and a second later she's pushing you away? And some women would also like lose the desire. And again, not everyone, but that's the thing with the clitoral orgasm. Is, and another kind of orgasm is the whole body orgasm with the continuous orgasmic state. Notice it's a state and not just a moment of clitoral orgasm. And when you get to a state, the experience is much deeper. The orgasm feels like it's our orgasm, not just my orgasm. It's not just strong in terms of pleasure. It's kind of like more meaningful. And women who experience the other kind, what's called the implosive, internal or whole body ones, say they don't even need the clitoral orgasms because the clitoral ones are depleting. And that's very similar to the man's ejaculatory orgasm, which is depleting for his energy. Because maybe a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old, you can, come ejaculate a few times, but after you go to your early, mid, and late 30s, you cannot do this anymore. Most people cannot do this anymore. So there's much more in my book. Let me just pull it for you.
Grab your book, and we're going to go through the 5 models. So essentially what we're talking about now, we always want to have more energy. We just look at that. More energy is better than less energy. More different things where we're filled up. So Orgasm Unleashed. Tell us about the 5 models so we know what we're going through. Say someone's brand new to this. Let's just simplify it. Someone's brand new to this, and this is like, wow, this stuff's awesome. I knew as a kid, when my parents told me, and my dad sat me down after it was a little bit too late, and he goes, Brock, don't want to be touching that thing. Masturbation's bad. God said that. I grew up in a very religious family, and they say it's not religious, it's Christian, but to me it was religious. It's very controlling, and it was different for me. It caused me a lot of suffering. It didn't cause me a lot of suffering. I chose to experience the suffering as a result of that. I'm not going to be a victim, but ultimately at the time, like it created this gap in me where I was so drawn to being kind and caring to women. But every time, as soon as it became a conversation around sex, I felt guilt and blame and shame and all these different things, and which made things out of balance. And then as I would have sex, I realized it more and more that actually there was so much more than this. As the same way I contemplated that in business, that there's so much more. I contemplate that in life. There's so much more when we pull away the veil of what we've been told. So much more. Totally. So we just saw your book, Orgasm Unleashed. Give it another plug again. Put it up.
Here. So I'm going to talk about the thing for men, the model for men, but also it serves women as well. So bear with us, ladies. That pertains to you as well. So with the men. So first of all, focus on your why, and with the why, as you already mentioned, understand that ejaculation control, and also for women, orgasm control, is going to give you, first of all, more pleasure for yourself and for your partner. So if you're the kind of guy that can last for an hour or for 2 hours, you in penetrative sex, you're obviously able to give your woman better orgasms, deeper orgasms, internal, vaginal, G-spot, cervical orgasms, and so on. So that's by itself, I think that's a good reason. Beyond that, the second why is love. So it's not just about pleasure, but when you have longer love making, you have more love making. So the sexual energy expands and goes to the heart, and it's not just longer sex and better sex, it's more meaningful sex. The love also flows to all areas of your life, because when you ejaculate, you start to feel a bit depleted, and when you cultivate that energy goes to all areas of life. And the third aspect of the why, or the third reason to do this practice, is power, influence, wealth, if you read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, published, 80 years ago. So he has chapter 13 about sexual transmutation. And he talks about the importance of not showing your wild oats. Nobody understands what the problem is.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like, what is it showing? So what he's actually saying, guys, stop losing your sexual energy. And if you want to be really successful, learn to control and master and channel your sexual energy. Okay? So that's, other people have said it as well. Dave Asprey from Bulletproof Coffee said something about it. It's better to ejaculate not more often than once a month. Tim Ferriss from Forum is on masturbation challenge that obviously included non-ejaculation. So that's the why. So out of the 5 aspect model, notice like already we're speaking a few minutes about the why, because the why is so important.
So important.
The next aspects are feel, stop, and move. So with feel, it's feeling how aroused you are and what's called the point of no return, making sure that you're not going to the point of no return, and stop before it's too late. And some guys are already aware of this, but they're not aware that they can stop doing lovemaking. The thing that lovemaking is a sprint that they have to keep like moving and, penetrating and fucking and pounding and whatever. So I'm like, no, guys, it's totally legal to pause while you are in penetration or generally in sex. So this is an opportunity for you to pause, to look into your partner's eyes, to breathe together, to tell her that you love her. It's like the pausing by itself brings more meaning and more depth to the lovemaking. So again, feel how aroused you are. Make sure that you're not too aroused, and then stop before you're too aroused. And the next aspect, the next step of the 5-step model is what's missing for most of the sexuality teachings out there. Because if you, Google how to last longer, you will go like breathe like this and, squeeze that and so on. And there's no coherent explanation. So people are confused between controlling the sexual energy and moving the sexual energy. So the core of the 5-step model is feel, stop, and move. And move means moving the sexual energy away from your genitals throughout your entire body, and then later to your life and to your mission. So one thing, for example, which is very easy that you can do is fully exhale and stop your breath. So when you fully exhale and stop your breath, your brain is going like, oh, fuck, I'm dying. I'm not going to send energy to my cock and to my genitals. I'm going to draw the energy away from that. So the reason that men are getting inconsistent results from other practices is that they're not moving their energy enough. So this leads to blue balls, and this leads to wet dreams, and leads to men or confused or aggressive or agitated. And that's all because the sexual energy is stuck in the genitals. So it's really about moving that energy. And I have an online program that does like 10 or 20 different exercises and techniques in order to move the energy. So yeah, there's obviously much more than we can cover today. If people are interested in that and they go to the website, there's a part of this program is a 7-day free program that they can register to already give them a lot of value. So we can have it later.
Brilliant. We'll put a link down the bottom, so you guys can have access to that. Always like gifts, always like as much value on here as possible. Keep going.
Awesome. So that's generally the 5-step model. There's obviously more to that, but just to give people a taste that this is the main model, and this is honestly something that you'd be very, very hard for you to find anywhere else. It's something that I developed based on 7 years of studies in a tantric ashram in Thailand, and 12 hours of yoga and meditation and Tantra and so on. So really, I put everything that I have into this program.
I love it. And the thing I'm going to say there too, I'm just going to give a bit of commentary to this. I still feel like a massive apprentice in this area, and this is something that I've known about for about 10 years, maybe a little bit more. And I had a friend and a mentor who showed up and started teaching practices, just teaching me how to circulate the energy through my body, how to breathe different, And I think the biggest thing for me was being more present and engaged in daily life, more energy. A lot of my friends actually, they said that they kept better hair. I've been blessed that, you know, I'm 38 and I've still got full head of hair and I don't have any gray hairs yet, touch wood, but it's just, it's something they said for some people it can renew and vitalize and do stuff. I just heard it. They gave me a lot of reasons why, which fits into your model. But the thing that was, and the more that I did the practices, the more I found I was in my body rather than my head, which is brilliant for life, which is brilliant for business, which is brilliant when all of a sudden there are those moments in life when life feels like it's too much in business, in our relationships, in things happen in life. And it's good to be so present, engaged in different things. The challenge for me when I first learned these practices was I thought I'd mastered sex from what I knew sex was supposed to be. I could last. And that wasn't always the case. Sometimes needed to, sometimes not to. Had to learn that a little bit. And it's not something we often talk about. And then I thought, wow, I can go as long as I want, but I still wasn't fulfilled. And it's interesting. It's similar how I related it initially to business, where, you know, once you figure out how the world works, you can go and you can make money. You can go and you can hit your goals. You can use the law of attraction. But it's how do we have that, almost to the point of orgasmic living, where you get the goosebumps in daily life, where your body tingles, where there's information that you have, where all of a sudden you just know, rather than having a technique of what you want to do next, where what can occur in the bedroom can occur in real life, even though it is all interconnected. So say for you, let's go back a little bit. You grew up. Now we want to talk about that a little bit. You grew up, obviously had parents and so forth. How was it that you felt called to some of these practices? What was going on for you? Did you ever have a typical career before you hit the ashrams and this?
So I was a techie, and I had my own business and stuff when I was 20, and then I went into corporate job and was information security consultant for the mobile phone company in Israel. I'm originally from Israel. And I had, you know, I had like the big bike and the girlfriend and the apartment in the middle of town. I actually bought an apartment. Like I'm very lucky with that. But something was missing. You know, some meaning was missing. Although I really progressed really, really fast in my career and started to make a lot of money and so on. But something was there. And then literally one night I didn't sleep. Like, and all the night I was thinking, like, if I move into my new apartment, I bought a new apartment and we renovated. And I thought, if I'm moving into my new apartment, I'm not going to be able to travel because I'll be paying the mortgage. So I decided not to move into an apartment, left my job, went traveling, thought I'm going for 3 months, stayed a year and a half in Asia. And then kind of like came back, had an even better job, even better pay, and then finally realized that's not for me. And I'm going back to the ashram, and that was 2004 that I went back to Thailand. So it's been a while. And to answer your
Mantak Chi one?
Yes, please. Sorry?
Was that the Mantak Chi one in Thailand or another one?
No, that's Agama Yoga in Koh Phangan in Thailand. Mantak Chi is good. I find him to be very, very Chinese, which means if you read his book has tons of stuff in his book. But for me, it's like it's nearly unreadable because it's a little bit dogmatic and very, very detailed and technical. So I created the model which is simple and just have the strongest techniques that Westerners can very easily understand and follow. So yeah, no offense to Mantak Chi, he's great. I'm just created something which is more Western. To answer your other question, to Ten Tao Gardens, yeah. And to answer your previous question, I was always a bit different in my relationship with sexuality. For example, I did not watch porn when I was young. Instead, I read books, and in the books, kind of like romantic novels with kind of like martial artists and ninjas and samurais. And in the book, there were pages upon pages of descriptions of lovemaking and sex and fucking and intercourse and everything in between. So I read about what the woman's hand is touching her side. So it's not that the gross, you know, it's like penis inside vagina that you see in porn. It was the internal sensations and feelings and yearnings and fantasies of people. So that's one of the things that made me a good lover. So yeah, I had a lot of explorations, and then I discovered Tantra. I had a lot of exploration in Tantra and tantric sex. And obviously Tantra is not just sex. I learned a lot of different aspects of Tantra and yoga and spirituality. But obviously I also had a lot of sexual research, you can say. And then women started telling me, it's like, you're really good at this. You should offer this as a service, and not necessarily sex, but I was doing what at the time was called yoni massage or vaginal massage. So I was massaging my partners or lovers' vaginas and helping them to let go of pain and inhibition and shame around sexuality and so on. And then I started offering this as a service. So when I started offering this as a service, it's really expanded, and I worked with many people. Had many hours of practice, read books, did workshops, and so on. Then I started to develop my own flavor of what I call holistic sexual healing. So somewhere around there, I also wrote and published Orgasm Unleashed, Your Guide to Pleasure, Healing, Power. Yeah. Because I find that some practices that I was telling all of the women that I was working with, and I was like, what if I just publish this in a book, and if women in Zimbabwe can read the book, they don't have to come and work with me. So yeah, the book has been endorsed by some big sexual educators that it's female sexual educators, by the way, that say it's the best female orgasm book that they've ever read. So I'm not just another guy who thinks he knows what he's talking about with female orgasm and stuff. So yeah,
well done.
Women endorse me. So yeah.
It's funny that ashram that you talked about, we just stumbled in there one day. I was on Koh Phangan and I was riding around on my scooters. And somehow that little ashram, I went there and it just had a great energy to it. The people were so kind and caring, and yeah, it was lovely. It's so good to be there. It's funny, the different places. I even wonder, it's funny how many times in life, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, if you were actually there one time when I was there 3 years ago. It's funny how that happens.
I was probably in Australia, but yeah, maybe.
It's just funny like that. I've met friends that I knew 15 or 18 years ago. Then I bump into them again. Then I bump into them again. Then I bump into them again. A friend that I met, all of a sudden I saw that he was in a photo from many years ago. And how we come together on all these different practices. Yeah. But the next thing I want to cover is this. For some people, they might want to go from a job to a business. Yeah. And some people might want to go from a hobby to being a professional. And for you, you've gone from, obviously being around those circles. When you're in the Tantra circles, it's quite normal to talk about these things. When you become vegan, all of a sudden you start talking about excreting. You start talking about all different things. It just becomes normal within that context. But I've had a few clients who have been describe themselves as sexual healers, empowerment, different things. And obviously some people I'd love to connect you up with as well. And what I find is interesting is they often only keep it within a box. And I found powerful is when we're open to publicly share it. One of the guys, Stephen, as I said to him, to be more, just own his power in the space. A woman sat next to him on the plane. The next thing they were talking about was different things. The next thing he had a client with Skype. Because he was willing to open up to someone on a plane rather than saying this is stuff that we only talk about in a particular circle. So how did you bridge that? To go from being with women socially and in terms of doing your research and your practices in the ashram and in your private practice to making it a career? And also, how does that integrate with relationship? Are you in a relationship at the moment, or how does that work for people?
So yeah, I've been in a number of really amazing relationships over the years. For many years, by the way, my priority was to make love with women and have really meaningful and sacred interactions with women, not necessarily go into long-term relationships. One of my partners was a woman by the name of Vanessa Florence, who's the creatress of the Celebrating Sexuality Festival and Dancing Eros and some really good stuff. And she's been So that has been a very nice long relationship. And now I'm with a new woman, and that's, yeah, you know, it's kind of like early phases, but that's really interesting. So one of the things that I've been doing all my life is turning my hobbies into income streams. And
nice.
Usually those income streams that are serving other people. So it's not like, you know, playing with stocks at the stock market. You know, it's like, for me, it's like, there needs to be a alignment between what you love, what helps other people, and what brings money. Because many people have only one of them. You know, they're either making money, or they're doing what they love, or they're helping others, but they're not integrating them. So me, it's about the holistic integration. So I've made money from every, like, you know, it's like I learned how to cook, and I started cooking for people 6 or 8 months later. People were like, you've probably been cooking since you were young. I'm like, no, I just learned this like 2 months ago. I had lots of different things, and this is what I help people with, to understand that they have talents, they have gifts that they can offer as a service to other people, and they can charge for them. Because they're like, nobody would ever pay me for that. And what I realized is that when I tried to box myself into I'm just a Tantra teacher, I got frustrated because I felt like I am already a mindset coach, and I'm a creativity coach, and I'm a small business coach, and I'm doing so many different things. I cannot just label myself a sexuality coach. So I started, you know, I was talking with people about all of this kind of stuff. So I decided to stop limiting myself by these definitions. Although I call myself sexual empowerment coach, the second thing that I say afterwards is I help professionals, you know, with their sexuality, creativity, and business. So for me, it's actually a very natural thing, because like you said, many people are only focused on their own domain of expertise. And for me, it's about combining different domains into one. And just when I allowed myself to do this, it started to grow. When I stopped being, feeling like ashamed and guilty of the fact that I'm doing business, because I came from the spiritual, you know, community and so on, and I wasn't expressing how much I loved business, I love promotion, I love selling, I love marketing, you know, and I love spirituality, you know, I love meditating, I love spiritual retreats. So I stopped all of this stuff, and people started to be attracted to me because I was expressing all of this stuff. Yeah, does that answer your questions?
Definitely. It's fun for some people to do. I'll have that conversation with people too. So many times we would do everything because we love it.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a good place to do. You know, in terms of, you know, adding value, doing calls like this adds value to both of us. It's a beautiful thing to do, and we'll expand from it. When I think about the client calls that I get off the end, I'm like, wow, I get paid to do this, and people's lives rapidly transform. It's beautiful. It's just finding those elements that go, it's a beautiful thing to be paid for doing what we love. And it's also, the world's often demonstrated to us that you have to work hard for money. And that's often been the case where there's these myths that are created in the world to control us in sex, in business. To break through that paradigm into a new normal, we've got so much more space to actually create what we truly love. And as we individually break free, this is my thing where I say, if individually I can break free, well, then I can help another break free, and then we free humanity, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah. Which is cool. So let's talk about
be the change you want to see in the world.
Be the change, man. And I like it.
I sometimes say, be the sex you want to see in the world.
That element, one of the principles I've heard too, is called sexualness. You know, when you see a kid, they're sexual. They're just like shimmying through life. Like, I can do whatever I want. And then at about the age of 7, we switch it off. And even I've worked with a lot of men. I've worked with a lot of men around sex, and I've talked to women about this too. So I've worked with a lot of men and women. Sex is not my focus, but it comes up a lot because it affects everything, and everything's intertwined. But ultimately, a lot of men, they're like having so much fun with women, or men, if they happen to choose to be with men. They're having so much fun with the person that they're choosing to be with. Then all of a sudden they hit the bedroom, and all of a sudden it goes, hello, my name is Eduardo. I want to fuck. And all of a sudden this persona comes through. Instead of relaxing things, that's one of the things I'm always contemplating. How do we stay relaxed through the intensity of being ourselves in the world? Because it's easy to go out and do something, put a mask on. And I'm always looking at that. What's another layer that I can peel off to blossom more into me? But if we've got that mask on, we feel protected often, but ultimately we're restricted from feeling what we truly want, which again relates to sexual expression. So for people that want to come out and do what they love and put their hand up, particularly in an Australian culture and in the country that you've come from, you guys have got the best information technology and innovation and systems because people are trying to blow you up every day. Different culture.
Yeah, so with this society, with Australia, you know, there's obviously Christian background, there's Victorian background, you know, there's it's a great country. I really love the people, but obviously there's some sexual repression, oppression, and suppression. And the first thing is to read. Okay, so I have a article that I'm happy to share in the show notes, which is called "Are We Sexually Repressed and We Don't Know It?" So people think that they are all, you know, open and whatever, but actually, like you say, they come to the bedroom and there's all these issues and another persona and it's, if I can give the solution, so first of all, understanding the problem. Because if you're not admitting there's a problem, you can never solve it. So understand that you're probably miseducated sexually. You're probably not educated enough in how you want to be. You're not free as you want to be. You're not expressive as you want to be. You're not knowledgeable and experienced as you want to be. And we're talking specifically about sexuality, but it's also about other stuff as well. So first of all, understand that and seeking the sources, the teachers, the teachings, the schools, the workshops, whatever that can really help you. So one of the things to understand is that you're not supposed to understand it all by yourself. You know, probably this joke about, you know, the men who are always being topics, they never stop asking for direction. You know, and even in bed, you know, it's like men kind of like suppose that they already know. It's like, oh, it's all the one-trick ponies. They do this thing and they get all the women to have like, you know, 5 clitoral orgasms in a row, and they feel like they are, you know, super lovers. But first of all, understand there's so much more to know. Start seeking those workshops. Start seeking those teachers. Read, experience, try different things. And try different things, by the way, doesn't mean the Kama Sutra. It means, because the Kama Sutra is like, you know, how can you try like 10 different positions when the average man comes after 5.4 minutes from penetration to ejaculation? So you can't really practice. So start to understand, start to write down what are all your issues, challenges, uncertainties, confusions around sex and sexuality. And sex and sexuality is also about gender. Because in this day and age, many men have lost their balls and many women are wearing balls.
Yeah.
So men have lost kind of like, they lost their mojo. I love the word mojo. It's been slightly destroyed by Austin Powers, but for me it actually sounds African or something. So men have lost their masculinity. They lost the king and the warrior. And even if they like, you know, go to the gym and they're pumping themselves up and whatever, it's like, maybe they're even making money or whatever, but they're with the woman and they're being bitch slapped. Is that you use this in Australia? Bitch slapped? Yeah. Okay.
We say they're being soft or bitch slapped.
Yeah. So it's like, instead of being a guide and a leader and a center for women, they're becoming women themselves. And by the way, it's like my language is very heteronormative, so please make the translations if you need to. But generally, for men who's with women, I see other men who don't give a clear guidance and a clear center and a clear space for the women. So the women are coming to me and they're telling me like, listen, I'm working, I'm making money, I'm creative, I'm good at my job, but I'm feeling disconnected from my femininity. I'm feeling dry, both emotionally and physically. You know, the yoni is dry. The feeling that they cannot relax and surrender in sex, relaxing and surrendering being feminine qualities. So women are feeling too masculine, men are feeling too feminine, and this is because society is giving us confusing messages around sexuality and gender. So what I'm saying with the new movement that I'm launching, the new sexual revolution, is let's acknowledge and let's regain the connection to our sexual essence. So as a man, I have both the masculine and the feminine. A woman has both the feminine and the masculine. But we are learning to have both of them inside what needs to be expressed. So yeah, I can go a lot into that. But I just ran a workshop over the weekend, and there was a very beautiful couple there. And the woman was saying, it's like, I want him to guide me. I want him to lead me. It doesn't mean that the woman is not able, but the feminine wants to express and to live and it's better for the feminine if somebody else is holding the space for her. It doesn't mean that she cannot make the decision or drive or kick ass or have a great career or whatever. But it means that when she's with her man, she wants to relax. She doesn't want to decide. And the man was saying, oh, sometimes I don't feel the confidence to lead her and to guide her because she's trying to be stronger than me. So in the workshop was a workshop around, it's called Awakening Female Pleasure, one of the things we might talk about in a few minutes, but it's not just about sex. This is the really important thing to understand, because when the man is not expressing that, when a woman is not, when a man and a woman are not expressing that with each other, something will be lacking in their creativity, in their business, and in their spiritual practice. So, I'll just let you respond. I know that I've shared a lot.
Oh, it's just all linked in there too. Because I mean, if we look at models of the world where we see gentlemen such as the Wolf of Wall Street, where we describe that, where it's essentially a non-integrated boy that's actually gone into business, and we see that in the coaching field as well, where we're like, smash it out, boom, yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, and we're given a non-integrated version of masculinity that's defined. Let's just act out masculinity.
Yeah, by the way, you remember Wolf of Wall Street? He seduces this really beautiful woman, and he comes in 3 seconds. So that's the face of masculinity. You know, it's this juvenile thing about seducing the woman rather than opening her heart open to God and to herself. You know, so the focus is wrong. That it's all focused on. Sorry, I interrupted you. I just got really passionate about that. I went to Sexpo the other day, and Sexpo is fucking sad. You know, Sexpo is a sexuality. It's not even a conference, it's like a fair. You know, so everything is about cocks inside pussies. Everything is strong, rough, loud, fast. Everything is about the biggest toys, the strongest toys. So there's a lot of toys, there's a lot of merchandise, and people have forgotten about connection, first of all. People forgot about softness and subtlety. People forgot about they have within their bodies and within their hands everything they need in order to activate themselves and another person. Sex is not just about another person, and not just about genitals and penetration. So what you just said is the collective consciousness idea of what sexuality is. You know, it's like DiCaprio with how he's acting with women is so juvenile. So yes, thank you for letting me like vent there. There's more where it came from.
It's fun to go on those elements. You know, I was speaking to a guy who's been doing some coaching with me recently, and I'm going to send this link through to him. So if you watch him, man, I'm thinking of him. I won't mention him because he's always after the chase. He's always after seducing, and then he never quite goes. He's still working a job that he hates, but he feels alive when he goes out to seduce women. So he doesn't necessarily stay with his woman too long. All of a sudden, it gets hard sometimes in relationships. All of a sudden, it gets challenging sometimes in business. The world's not quite how we thought it was going to be. All of a sudden, we have to do something different, and it's just that thing. It's let's go and seduce a woman for one night. Let's go and seduce another woman for one night. Let's go and seduce another woman for one night. And we spend our whole life doing it. It's okay. Everything's a different choice. But it's interesting that that's how we can often do business. We're always chasing the next shiny object. And at Sexpo, that could be a dildo or a vibrator or whatever the next sex toy is, rather than going, man, we actually came equipped with everything we need to live a fulfilling life. You know, when we first came to the planet, We didn't need money. We didn't need these laptops. We didn't need all these different things. We could actually live a hedonistic lifestyle, eating grapes and making love, drinking wine, perhaps.
Yeah, and for me, Tantra is about the intent of everything. So it's not, Tantra is not about the rejection of anything, because there's spiritual traditions that say, it's like everything is an illusion. Let's just meditate and live in a cave and just understand our divine nature. Tantra comes and say, maybe this is an illusion, but we have for 80 years. Let's fucking enjoy it. Everybody, let's enjoy sex. Let's enjoy food. Let's enjoy our work and our career and whatever we're doing in life. But let's make it amazing. Let's bring consciousness into it. So everything is a conscious action. So you can make $1 million while having an amazing sex, amazing relationship, while helping other people, not taking advantage of other people, while making the world a better place, and also while having enough time and relaxation for yourself. So you're not overworking, you're not killing yourself like this kind of like this pride in the Gary Vaynerchuk kind of like pride. It's like, I arrive before everybody and I work more than everybody. It's like fuck you. It's like, great, good for you. It's like your kids, they don't even know how you look like, So just opening the air and I'm getting hot. Yeah,
it is a funny one. Even with Gary, what it's like sex for him, pretty obvious.
Yeah, he's like live vlogging while So, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I love Gary Vaynerchuk. He's amazing, but it's like chill out, man. I don't want to be, It's like I wanna it's like do my nature works and see my friends and go to conscious dances, a few times a week and make love for hours and have food in the sun and also work and also create and also want weekend workshops. But for me, it's what I call the integrated life model. And the integrated life includes intimacy, includes business, or what I call conscious business, includes lifestyle, includes spiritual practice, includes community. So it's about the integration, not the separation.
All of it. I love Gary Vaynerchuk too. So much wisdom. I watch his videos and get stuff from it. I like all of the energies. Never want to exclude everything. But something that I do with clients, I go, well, if you already did have the $1 million, how would you wake up in the day? Would you wake up and go straight to a bit of time every morning? Would you spend more time with your loved one? Even with one of my business owners I worked with, her business is about $8 million. And she wasn't having quality time with her partner. And for them, the practice was they would sit for 30 minutes and just be present with one another. Sometimes that would turn into more snuggles. Sometimes it'd just be sitting beside each other, looking at the view, holding hands, not talking about anything. And her business transformed. Her life transformed. If things showed up, the simplicity of life, if we get into what I like the harmony or the Wu Wei energy, to use a Taoist philosophy, spirituality, effortless flow. The thing about it is, I would love to work with guys like Gary Vaynerchuk. That's one of the reasons why I'm going and scaling up what I do in my business. So I'm going to meet those guys with the energy because I can go into that intensity. It's not hard to get pumped. Yeah. That thing when you get so fired up, it is fun from time to time to get around business owners and blokes and that energy. But it's also nice to be able to really engage in a different way. Beautiful. We're going to get to momentum. Big thing on this too. Momentum, right? So when I say momentum, just give me like 30 to 60 seconds. What is momentum to you?
Momentum is waking up in the morning and first of all doing my daily practices, my daily routine. So that gives me momentum for the rest of the day. I can share about this in a moment. Momentum is about creating and offering value to other people. It's about balancing between myself and other people. Put your own mask first. It's about doing the practices which are supporting my energy, supporting my mental state, supporting my emotional state, supporting my body, supporting my interactions with other people. It's about dreaming. It's about things like, what do I want to do in the world? How would my life look like in 6 months and in 3 to 5 years? So it's about allowing myself to dream big. And once I dream big, I translate it to what does my day and my week look like. Momentum is about resting as well. Momentum is about resting, because if you're not resting, you're burning out. So it's not just about running all the time. It's like before cutting something, measure twice, cut once, or measure 3 times, cut once, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's about stopping and reflecting and meditating. Momentum is about lifestyle and having fun. You know, for me, it's dance, ecstatic dance, 5 rhythms, conscious dance, movement medicine, open floor, hard dance with liat. You know, I've done tons of dances all around the world. I have my own dance event, by the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's generally momentum for me.
Boom. Let's go daily practices then. Top 5 daily practices.
Meditation. First of all, okay, meditation is like, it's also kind of like a self-development thing and a success thing, but it's much more than that. So I've done, you know, 10, 12, 15, 17 days meditation retreat in silence without looking at anybody's eyes. You know, it's like 10, 12 hours at the meditation center and really, really going deep. So for me, meditation, first of all, is a spiritual practice. The spiritual means getting to a level of pure consciousness without thought and without identification. And I'm not saying I'm there, I'm not enlightened yet, but it's kind of like we're all enlightened, but we're still working on actually living like that without all of the mental chatter. And sleep is a very big practice for me. One of my kind of like role models, a guy by the name of Ryan Holiday, has an article says, "You want to be more productive? Go the fuck to sleep."
Nice.
So my dream was to sleep 4 hours in a 24-hour period. Right now, I'm just giving myself a lot of sleep. I nap in the afternoon. For me, that nap in the afternoon restarts my day. It's also an example of what I call the pause. I stop everything. Nobody can book sessions with me between 2 to 4 p.m. I read a little bit, and then I just nap. And even if I don't manage to sleep, I'm just switching off. Always by myself. My sleep is always by myself, never with another person. I make love with women. I don't sleep with women. I cannot fall asleep. The sexuality is so strong. Most of us are like kind of like vibrating and shaking. It's like I cannot go to sleep when I'm next to a woman. I keep wanting to touch her and penetrate her, and I cannot sleep with a woman. I do obviously different kind of what's called kriyas in yoga, so different kinds of cleanses and stuff every morning. I have a gratitude practice which I love. So just saying the things that I'm grateful for in a day, and sometimes it's like it's a gray rainy day, and I love it. So not going like, oh, I'm controlled by the weather because it's rainy. No, I'm happy whatever there is. I have something which is called the spiral clearing, developed by a guy called Dane Thomas with a few other people who have since left and created their own thing. I'm happy to connect you with him. It's a combination of kinesiology, Chinese medicine, chakra system, coaching. So I'm doing that. I'm usually, I've been slacking off a little bit, but I'm usually walking every day for 5,000 to 10,000 steps, which means, 3 to 6 Ks. Jogging sometimes. I work out a little bit. I don't go to the gym or anything, but just calisthenics. I go over my ideal life. Worked with a guy called Rob Scott from Fundamental Shift, American guy, very, very, very inspiring. Gave me some really good practices. I try to write. I have to say, again, there's so many things going on. It's like I haven't been writing so much. There's also kind of like weekly practices. So it's not just about the daily, but the weekly and the monthly. So in a week, I try to dance. Try to be in nature as well, at least every day for a little bit, and once a week for a little bit longer. Food is also very important. So I eat really, really good food. Nearly only organic unless I eat outside. Self-pleasuring is something which is very important. I don't know if I'm going to say it or not. So yeah, self-pleasuring. In the beginning, I would suggest people every day, and that's self-pleasuring without an explosive orgasm. So without ejaculation and without clitoral orgasm. And that's kind of like I touch myself and I connect to myself every day. And that's an aspect of self-love. It's not just about sexuality. It's like I work with some women who tell me like they don't feel that they're worth it to spend 15 minutes with themselves. So yeah, these are a few of my daily practices. Yeah,
I love it. Always love just when people I got respect for, always ask that question, and always look at what other things do I want to add to my thing. And when I was in California, I loved hip hop dancing. I've got my martial arts training, got my hip hop dancing, got my daily qigong, my water, 60 minutes minimum a day in nature, breathing. It's brilliant. And the spiral, I've actually been through the spiral. And one of my friends met Dane Thomas, introduced me to him, but I haven't actually met Dane in person yet. So yeah, keen to connect with him real soon. And
you're probably connected with the guy who Ryan Nasser.
He's I actually just saw him a couple of hours ago. He's one of my friends I just love. And yeah, he literally was here a couple of hours ago. And every time we're just beaming. We just love each other. I'm actually wearing his shirt right now. And he's brilliant. We've been friends for about 2 years. I started doing all these different daily practices, and then he just turned up at my house. Another friend introduced him to me, and he all of a sudden went, "In Cairns? Where have you been my whole life?" And that's how I felt up in Cairns. And even someone that had just done a workshop with Dane in Melbourne and been through some of the spiral stuff. When I was moving into a house in California, I went to get some furniture, and next thing I'm at her house, and she goes, "Oh, do you know Dane Thomas?" "Yeah, actually, I do." Interesting how we all come together. My little theory about momentum, it's not that we're all dolphins, but it's like as we elevated our consciousness level, we spiral and shift and we find one another, which I love, which is cool. We're going to have to continue more of this conversation so it doesn't go too long. I think we're going to have to get you back on the show. If you guys are still watching to the end, just congratulate yourself. Just give yourself a little pat on the shoulders. The thing is, the ability to stay focused in a world of distractions, the ability to stay focused and out of your head when you make love with a woman, or self-pleasure, or in your business, anything like that. Some of the tools that we've had today are brilliant. And he's also saying to you, you're going to have a free gift of 7 to 8 things. We're going to put the details below. Go and check out his book. I'll definitely have to read that too. And I've made a commitment that I will be coming to a weekend workshop of yours. So I'll just work out a date and I'll make sure I come along.
February. So somebody's listening to this. There's a weekend workshop called Unleash Your Pleasure Power in February, all about connecting to your own sexual power, not being reliant on somebody else. So yeah, that's mid-February in Melbourne. So happy to see you, buddy, as well.
Mid-Feb.
Yeah.
I'm just scheduling my retreat now for February, so I'll schedule it so we don't clash. And it's brilliant. The more we do this work and share it with people and open people up, it's just a brilliant space to be in. Appreciate you being on the show, my man. Final thing I'm going to ask you. 60 seconds. 60 seconds. You have an opportunity to share your message to the world. There's 8 billion people about to watch you right now. So once you shut your eyes and open up, just stay for 60 seconds, whatever comes through you right now in this moment. You got 60 seconds to share. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom.
So start with loving yourself. Everything starts with you loving yourself, accepting yourself. Stop judging yourself. Stop giving yourself a hard time on what you think you're not doing. Understand that you have a gift. You're here to share a gift that only you can give. And maybe there's 1,000 other people doing something similar. It doesn't matter. If you're doing this, that's special. Find how to do this, how to offer it to as many people as possible. It's not about you. It's not about your problems. It's about your gifts. Find how to integrate your sexuality, business, your creativity, and spirituality. Allow yourself to love yourself and to love others as well. It's about the integration of you and other people. So understand that your sexual energy can transform your business and life. Learn how to control and how to channel your sexual energy around your life. Find a way to communicate, to integrate, to cooperate, that's the word, with other people as well. You have so much other people can give to you. You're not here by yourself. So partnerships, corporations, community as well. And last is understand that you're not just a physical being, you're a spiritual being. So work on your spirit, work on your soul, work on things which are not just the world and not just the physical. So meditate and understand who you really are. Understand that you're pure consciousness. I think that's a good start.
I love it. Yeah, 67 and a half. It's all perfect. I appreciate you being on the show here, my man. Lots of great content for the guys. And, just So again, saying to you guys, you've made it all the way to the end. There's a lot of different stuff. There's different elements here. The thing that's important to me is I'll check out and research and do things before I bring someone onto the show. And, you know, Eyal's someone that I've had multiple people speak of. This is a sensitive area. You know, it is an area in life that we need to be aware of. We need to make sure that people are trustable and dependable and all that sort of thing. And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. So I appreciate what you're doing and going out and making space for the rest of us to have more space in the world and leading this way. And excited to see you build the movement. Excited to see what you create next, and really looking forward to that workshop, being more empowered in my sexuality too. It's something I know that there's so much more available. As in, isn't it cool? We just keep getting better and better and better and better and better and better.
And if people want to check even more kind of like free articles, videos, stuff, everything is intimatepower.com. Intimate like intimacy, so intimatepower.com.
Yeah.
So yeah,
cool.
Thank you for having me here today, mate.
That's a pleasure. Put it in for me. Boom.
Okay.
Big fist.
Nice one, buddy.
Don't leave me hanging. Boom.
Ciao, mate.